So, here's another video from Nico Lion. Um, I'm just here to tell you guys a secret about how to actually draw from your imagination. So I've been getting a couple questions about this, and people out there would like to know, how do you really draw from your imagination? How do you do that? You see, okay, well, there's a few different ways. You see, our minds, they're like catalogs, and our brains are capable of storing information, whether that's binary information such as knowledge, or that's visual information such as images. And the better you get at this, the more you can draw from your imagination, from your visual library, or from your visual software, which can create images in your mind. Our eyes are really sophisticated in how they can process images that we've seen before, or how they can see down the line. And so the way they do it is really intricate in a way. It just shows you how much level of detail God has put into our eyes when He created them, because we can see tons of colors, and it's pretty amazing. So yeah, I just want to give you guys a recommendation on there's a book that really talks about this, but it's not going to explain it exactly how I do, um, because I actually found a really interesting secret on how you can draw from your imagination, which a lot of people don't get. A lot of people are just used to drawing from references, which is great. Draw from life also, but drawing from the imagination, it definitely sharpens your ability to draw dynamically, um, and with the level of detail that you don't even need references after a certain while, because you've practiced drawing from your imagination. And the more you really understand how intricate your mind is, you start to notice that your mind is like a visual. It's a vision. You have a visual eye. You have two eyes here, and your mind has a visual eye. So your mind is capable not only of seeing words and places that you've been, but it's capable of something that I never thought possible before I started to explore it, which is I don't know if you're familiar with like those software tools like Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop, for example, GIMP, where you can draw, or even Microsoft Paint, where you can draw like outlines of an image, and you can go into the image, into the subject, and create finer details and finer levels of shading and form and value. Your mind can actually do the same thing. What's really amazing about your mind is that once you start to grasp this ability, when I woke up to it, I was really shocked that our minds can really do this. Um, it's able to, um, let's say you have a picture, you remember how your grandmother looks, or your girlfriend, or your boyfriend, right? Or your cat, or your dog, right? You've seen them before. So you should have some type of remembrance of what they look like. Your mind stores these things without you even knowing it. But imagine if you can, and you can take control of that power in your mind, and you can start to, everything you've ever seen in life, you don't even realize that you've taken these images and stored it in your mind over your lifetime, however old you are. And you can just, if you sit back and just, you don't even have to close your eyes. If you close your eyes, you may get a more detailed image of it. But you can even, your mind is so sophisticated, you don't even have to close your eyes. You can just, if you focus, you can see a cat in any, the amazing thing about, another amazing thing about your mind is, let's say you see your cat right in front of you, from your perspective, which is right in front of you. Your mind is so amazing that you can turn the cat three-dimensionally. You can turn the cat like from being straight at you to being like this, to being like this with his back towards you. You can make the cat look up to the sky. You can make the cat look down, and you can do this all without touching the paper at all. You can just do it by dynamically capturing the image in your mind. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, but just try it. Try to draw like a fish, which is what I'm going to be drawing in a minute. Just draw like a fish. You can see the fish laying down on the table if you're looking down at it, or you can draw the fish up in the sky hanging from like a fish line or something. Or you can basically draw it in any perspective is possible with your mind. You don't even have to start drawing on the paper before you can do it in your mind. So the reason why I mention this is because it's a very valuable skill where you can just draw from your mind and you don't have to even put the pencil to the paper. Not that you shouldn't, but the ability to draw from the imagination, it really, really helps. And it sometimes, well, all the time, there's things in your imagination that you would never have been able to draw from real life. And that's why drawing from the imagination is pretty amazing. So, but yeah, the recommendation that I was going to give is a book called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. Because the left side of the brain deals with data like knowledge and, like words and information and things like that. Binary things. But the right side of the brain deals with visual information and how we deal with that. So I would say that your visual eye exists on the right side of the brain, right? So yeah, take that advice into consideration. I think that that's the best advice anybody can give you for drawing from your imagination. Imagine, people say, well, I can imagine it, but I can't get it on the paper. I don't care how hard I try, right? Well, it might be like that at first, but the more you practice with this ability, you'll definitely get it down where you could see what you want to draw in your mind. You can see a whole composition, a whole landscape, a whole forest. You could capture it in your mind, whether black and white, or you can capture it in colors also, and that's a pretty useful skill to have. Even painters around the world, they can imagine what they want to draw. Some of them before they even put the outline onto the canvas, and that's a skill I have, which I've been trying to. I just recently got back into drawing. I have a big project I'm working on, and so I'm trying to hone my skills again and take it serious again. So yeah, I'm gonna be drawing a fish now, and it's gonna be strictly from the imagination, no reference at all, and we're just gonna see how it comes out. All right, check it out. All right. All right. I'm gonna get this going here. I'm trying to see if I could turn my screen around, but it doesn't seem to be letting me do that. All right, so we're gonna get this going here. Give me a second. All right. All right, so we're gonna draw the fish in another book. All right. I don't know if you can see my tools. All right. So here we're gonna draw a basic fish. All right, I'm gonna draw a fish. Okay. Now, I'm just gonna draw this. Hope you can see it. Hope you can see. All right. All right. Here we go. So we're gonna draw a fish. All right. Here we go. Okay. And you might mess up a bit, um, you know, but the more you start to understand about how your imagination works, the more you'll start to really, really grasp how you can take advantage of it, and you start to really see, wow, my imagination is really useful. And you see, I'm just drawing a fish where I would imagine it's laying down and I'm about to cook it. So, you know, and it's more or less a sketch. But you know, it just takes some practice. After a while, you'll definitely start to notice uh, things on how you can basically draw anything from your imagination. Now, does it take practice? Sure it does. But what doesn't take practice, right? And this is just from what I know fish to look like, right? And this is, of course, a very quick drawing. It's not meant to take too long, and it's basically a sketch just to show you guys what's possible from drawing from your mind. And sometimes it's more efficient to draw from your mind as well, because sometimes when we draw only from references, you can get yourself boggled down, and you'll find that you would have had so much more, how do you say it, so much more dynamic ability when you draw from your mind, because you are not constrained to a fixed image. You're more or less creating the image as you go, and so you're able to capture things a lot quicker than you expect, right? Hope you guys could see that. And after a while, it'll become like second nature, and you'll get the hang of it. But how do you get the hang of something if you don't try? A lot of artists want to find out, how do they draw? How do you draw from the imagination? How does that work, right? We want to know, how does that really work? Well, you just have to practice. The more you get it, the better you'll do. So, of course, it takes practice, and after a while, you start to see, you know what, this isn't actually so bad. I can do this. And of course, you try to go, don't mind my speed, I've been drawing for a long time, but I'm very rusty. I haven't drawn in a while, and so the best artists will tell you, if they haven't drawn in a while, they may not be as good as they were, but the skill is still there. They just have to revive it. And so this is what I say the fish should look like from my imagination. And like I say, you just gotta practice, and after a while you'll definitely be able to create some things you never thought you were able to create. And definitely references definitely do help, because after all we're creatures that remember things. So drawing from your mind is great, and it's one of the best abilities you can grasp. But don't neglect drawing from life, because after all we all come from a visual world where we very used to seeing things. And so after a while you start to say, definitely gotta understand how this all works. And after a while you definitely get it, and you'll start to see how to take simple shapes and make them into something that you never thought would be what it is now. And that's part of drawing. Learning from your mistakes. Okay. Hope you can see that. I don't have too much lighting, but we do the best we can. So you basically after your mind can draw from things you've already seen in life, and also it can create new things based on your imagination. Now it might not be easy at first, as I said, but after a while, oh yeah, it gets so much easier, so much easier. It gets a lot easier, and it definitely gets like super easy after a while, but it definitely requires investment at first. I'm definitely gonna tell you that. Definitely gonna tell you that. So this is a fish from imagination. Obviously, it wasn't like a planned drawing, just something I sketched. And, you know, after a while, it definitely becomes easy. I'm using Prismacolor pencils, and they're not as good as I thought they'd be for certain tasks, but they're good at leaving white spots, and I hate that when I'm drawing or coloring or anything. So it's really annoying, but I'm actually looking to get these new pencils that I looked into getting, and they're called Faber-Castell Polychromos. And I feel like they have a lot of good sayings about them, and I've seen what they can do. So if they can do that, then I can do it too. Sometimes as an artist, you don't want to fight your materials. That's one thing. Not that you won't create something beautiful without the right materials, but if you're a perfectionist like me, you're gonna probably want the best materials that you can use. All right, so that's the fish, and I hope you guys like this video. You know, it takes time, but eventually you'll get it. You'll get it down. This is going out to anybody who likes art, anybody who is an artist, and definitely keep up with me and what I'm doing. I actually had drew Mario a few days ago, and I used the Prismacolors again, but they're not doing as good as I hoped. So yeah, but you just gotta practice. Definitely check out that book, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. I haven't even finished it, but it's a great book. Definitely a must read for artists. I actually have a book coming out also pretty well, not soon. It's gonna take a while. It's gonna be called The Artist Within You. It may be called that or something else, but look out for that book. It's gonna be very intensive. Many things that any artist should grasp and understand. Um, I've been drawing all my life and totally got a ton of value to give people. So yeah, check it out and practice. Keep practicing. All right. See y'all later. Peace. Later.